The series of dangerous fires in Poland continues. It started yesterday with the Mariwilska 44 shopping mall and several other places in Warsaw. Today, a fire broke out at a high school in Grodziec Mazowiecki. There was also an explosion which injured 9 people at a firefighting school in Poznan. Is this still a tragic coincidence, or is it time to ask the question, is Poland the target of a hybrid attack by foreign forces? If the fire had occurred literally a moment earlier, a truly enormous tragedy could have occurred. Students took their high school exams here today. We just happened to have extended English, and 5 minutes after we finished English, the school caught fire. Cadets of the National Fire Service School in Poznan were less fortunate. 9 people were injured in an explosion that occurred during class. The Public Prosecutor's Office has just opened an investigation into the massive fire which broke out on Saturday night in a shopping mall at 44 Mariwilska Street in Warsaw. The activities conducted in these proceedings are aimed primarily at establishing the cause of this fire, as well as determining the extent of the damage and establishing the circle of victims. Among them are the owners of the Mariwilska 44 company, but also the tenants of the premises, and there were almost 1,500 of those. Their families were left with nothing. I have 2 children, a rental apartment and a loan, and now I don't know how to pay for it. Questions arise. How is it possible that the entire hall was ablaze just 11 minutes after the fire broke out? Was it an unfortunate accident, or rather arson? And finally, who is responsible for the fire at the mall on Mariwilska Street? Evidence is being gathered in these proceedings. Witnesses are being interviewed and documentation is being collected. Also on fire over the weekend were a landfill of bulky items in Velanov, garbage and building materials in Sikierkik, a car park in Powinska, and a high-rise building in Zhybowska Street. A fire also broke out in the Campinos National Park. In Bytom, 10 buses of a private carrier were burned. When it comes to security, we're eminently concerned at the moment. We're seeing a series of different kinds of crisis events in Poland, events that are very serious, events in which we can suspect they had an origin that was not necessarily natural. At the same time, the Western press writes that special groups of Russian saboteurs have arrived in countries supporting Ukraine. We are dealing with something that is part of a broader diversionary liquidation operation. Let me remind you that already before, diversionary groups were operating on the territory of most European Union countries. A scenario in which Poland is the target of a hybrid attack is also not ruled out by the new Civic Coalition government. For now, however, there is no official reaction. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask the question of the Prime Minister, where, in all his political hate, are the politicians responsible for managing the crisis situation? The series of fires in Poland happened just at the time of the replacement of ministers in Donald Tusk's government. Some of them want to continue their political careers in Brussels. Among others, Marcin Kierwiński, the former Interior and Administration Minister, left office at such a critical moment. Also, among other things, the minister is responsible for overseeing the border guard, overseeing those services that are directly responsible for the border. In the morning, just before the new ministers were sworn in, Polish President Andrzej Duda spoke to Prime Minister Donald Tusk for an hour. The meeting was not previously scheduled. The conversation took place face-to-face. It probably concerned Poland's security. Konrad Wąż, TV Republika.